Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Gimpy, again. I'm here with the next part. We're going to call this turn 2 of Vietnam scenario here in Field to Fire. If you watched my previous video, Vietnam Part 1, I was going to continue this on as a talk through and just hit more points of it, but people are dying for a playthrough of this game, and I can see why. I mean, the game is excellent, so I understand people want to see it. But it is difficult, so people want to see someone playing it to help them learn the game. And I can't blame them for that in the least. I think part of the reason you're not seeing as many playthroughs of it is because people are afraid they're going to make mistakes and they don't want to film it and have things go wrong. And you know what? I've since my time here on YouTube, I've grown accustomed to the fact that it's uncanny the amount of people out there willing to point out every mistake you make on anything. And I'm not mad at you guys for that. I want you to point out if I goof something up, and I'm going to. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning this game, so it doesn't bother me. But I think it does bother some people, which I understand. But I'm gonna take and change this up to a playthrough. I'm gonna continue where I left off from the part 1. I went ahead and touched up the few things that I hadn't touched on to get the situation set up for an actual playthrough of the game itself. I'm gonna go ahead and show you that here, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the next turn. Something I wanted to point out is, for me, in the instruction booklet, it talks about having these commands available markers and then saved command markers. I know in the first edition of this game they had saved edition markers for the commands. I don't think that is in the second edition. If it is, I don't have them because I've looked everywhere and they don't exist. So for me, I'm just leaving the command marker here and flipping it over once I'm done issuing the commands, but leaving it on whatever number they have saved. It works perfectly fine. So if everyone's copy is the same as mine, go ahead and do it that way and you guys will be all set. I think that was the only thing I had to touch on as far as that was concerned. Gonna keep the camera kind of over here to the left. I'll pan it over to the airfield as I move units over there, but I wanted you guys to kind of be able to keep track of where I am on the commands and then be able to see the majority of the board here as we're moving along. This mission, we are going to the center card, which is our landing zone, and we have to secure 12 cards out of all of these cards, which is 25 cards, so about half of the board. That's no easy feat in the amount of turns that we have, but we do have a fair amount of assets. We've got some artillery we can use. We've got a lot of troops we can use. We've already got troops here on the landing zone from turn 1, so not an impossible feat. We'll see if we can do it. I went ahead and touched on my player log here, okay? The stuff that I hadn't filled in previously over here to the side was things like ammo. I've got that marked down for my machine gun units, the M60 units. Over here on the side, they each have 6 units of ammo. And the way I'm doing it is just I circled the 6 to indicate that's where it starts. And I'm just going to draw a slash through it until I get down to 1, and then they're empty. And then I guess, do they become fire teams at that point? Or no, they don't become a fire team because the fire team's on the other side. I guess they're just out of ammo, and maybe they have transports come from HQ. We'll figure that out when we get to that point. Like I said, we're going to learn as we go, baby. Now down here at the bottom, under my fire support, I've got it all marked in. Couple things of artillery, mortars, and then airstrike with their modifiers. Not 100% sure how that works. But I'm not going to be using it yet into this video, I'm sure, with how long it's going to take me to get to that point. So I should have this figured out by the time we get to that point. Here, though, you mark down the amount of draws that each unit will get, like your forward air controller, your artillery forward observer, mortar forward observer, company commander, and platoon commanders. And that's how many draws they're going to get naturally to try to call in arty, air, whatever it is, without modifiers. So you're going to have to modify that For your green experienced commanders, reduce it by 1 to a minimum of 1. So your platoon commanders are going to be drawing 1 card. Not exactly good odds there. And then over here, the number of fire missions they have and then used. Okay. And I don't think, okay, yeah, here on the back. Okay, yes, was in the Marines. I'm great at taking orders. I was an enlisted guy, but as far as giving orders, yeah, I could order the handful of guys that were below me in rank. But I was not a platoon commander, so I'm kind of guessing here. Red smoke, yellow smoke, purple smoke, green smoke. For ease of this, because there's no real objective. So I didn't need a signal to say push towards the objective A or objective B or whatever it is. So for me, I just have red smoke as ceasefire, yellow smoke as shift fire, purple smoke as cease, and green smoke as shift. That way I've got 4 each of those in case I'm short on orders and need to get everyone to do whatever it is. Because I can take and have one of my guys, like for example, my XO and my first sergeant, I gave them the colored smoke, okay? I'm gonna plan on having my first sergeant to the landing zone. I'll explain why, but should be by about turn 4. He should be to the landing zone. That way I can pop smoke here and any of my units in the surrounding area could see it and react to that. The rest of my units, you can actually create your own orders too. It says in the instruction book that you can tell them to do whatever you want, come up with your own SOP. For Red Star Parachute and Red Star Cluster, I gave both of them. I put evac wounded, which means litter teams bring the wounded guys back to the LZ to get transported out. Hopefully that will work. I didn't put anything down for the Green Star or Cluster yet. I might decide something for that later if I see something's not going right. And I left both Smoke and Willie Pete as just what they are, period, like their natural concealment. For Smoke and Willie Pete, I gave each platoon HQ, and yeah, each platoon HQ, I got 4 of them, 1 Smoke and 1 Willie Pete to use. So we'll see how that goes. It's a toss-up. I haven't used a whole lot of pyrotechnics yet. Now, it said you could plot your helicopter order on coming in before the game. I went ahead and plotted the first 4 turns. I might adjust that later, and I just wrote it across the top here for my own benefit. Now, these are the turns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to that point. And I put M for move, as in they're moving around the helicopter control card, and H for hold. All right. What I've got going on is the groups of units. Let me zoom in over here and let you guys see. You guys remember I had them all separated out into groups of who was getting transported when, with the helicopters and the units and all that good stuff. The first turn was dropping off first platoon. Second turn, and they started an inbound. Second turn, okay, let me start again because I'm getting confused already. When they moved to the board to drop off, these guys automatically came into inbound, all right? So there's 4 helicopters here with second platoon and their weapon teams, just like first platoon did, all right? So they're there, and on the following turn, they're going to be landing, or actually they're going to be landing this turn, start of turn 2. They're going to come in and land, and platoon 1 is going to be moving off the card to give them room, at which point another helicopter is going to be, a set of helicopters is coming from pickup to inbound. At that point, turn 3, I'm thinking about bringing them from inbound to loiter to possibly give me a minute to slow things down on the board. We'll have to see how it's going. I can make a choice later if it's not going according to plan to go ahead and bring them in. That third set of helicopter units is bringing in something a little different. I'm planning on bringing in 4th squad, okay, with its couple of squads. So you got the 4th squad HQ, and then the company 1st sergeant, the 60 millimeter mortar team, the artillery forward observer, and the mortar forward observer. I'm hoping that the first 2 platoons will have secured enough of a beachhead for the rest of my guys to be, like some of my important guys, to be brought in at that point. We'll have to see how exactly that goes. So my plan is these guys on this turn are going to be moving out to a card, one of these surrounding cards. Second platoon is going to be landing. That group, 4th platoon, and the extras are going to be coming into inbound. And 3rd platoon will be held back in reserve for a later point in the game to come in at some point wherever we're at. I'm thinking I can take and possibly clear out some of this grassland or this, brush here, the village, more brush that's up here, and extend my landing zone. All right, because the landing zone says in the rulebook can be 3 cards. So maybe I go all up and down, get these areas here, the village up top, the landing zone, the elephant grass down here. That way I can spread my forces out a little bit more and take more control. We'll play it by ear, see how it goes. And I think that's all I had to touch on. Should be enough yapping for me, and you guys are wanting to see cards and all the other good stuff. Like I said, we're going to go slow. I'm going to take it easy. I might stop the video at some point so I can reference things in the rule book. Y'all just bear with me, and I'll get you the best possible playthrough I can. Okay, now I'm going to go right down the turn sequence, which is right here. Friendly Hire HQ event phase. Okay, so I'm going to draw a card for that. Randomizing on 10. We got a 7. Okay, so we'll set that there, and we look in our book here at number 7 is Battalion is Screaming for Action. Battalion sounds a lot like YouTube. You must clear 2 new cards this turn. Kiss my ass. No, I shouldn't. Earn extra experience point for each of these events if completed that turn. Okay, so I have the possibility of gaining extra experience points. I'll have to keep that in mind. How many experience points do I get for doing that, though? Completed HQ, 1 per event. I only get 1 experience point for doing that, but I guess it's better than nothing. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. Let me mark that down on my little sheet there. Event 7. Events number 7. So, got it marked out. Now we are going to, now at this point, since, okay, let me pull up the little booklet so you guys can see where I'm getting this. Mission 1 details, the enemy, okay? Their hierarchy is defensive, the tactics are delay, the experience is veteran, you gotta be kidding me, veteran. And cover marker is foxholes, okay? So that's where you're gonna get your information, and that tells us that they're going to act here, okay? Defensive missions, enemy activity phase. We will do their higher HQ event, but there's no enemies on the board to do a activity check for yet, so that won't be happening until the following turn. So we draw a card, and again on 10, which is a 4. So for them, enemy higher HQ events, 4 is displace HMGs. Remove any on-map HMGs on cards with no U.S. troops. That would be lovely to have happen after the HMGs are placed. So, okay, I guess that works. All right, now we are at our friendly command phase. So we're going to start off with our card draw for our CO. He has his radio. He's in communications with battalion. I'm knocking my cards around all over here. Oh, and the neat thing, I finally got myself some lovely counter trays. I got a bunch of these for all the different counters. I would definitely suggest it because this game has so many counters you want to take and really get them separated and organized out for ease of access. Otherwise, you'll just be digging for them. I originally had them in baggies, and no, that was not working. So, okay, drew my card. I got 4 commands, +1, -1. Yeah, he's green. We're at no contact. I got my little no contact marker here. Got my daylight +0 marker there. So we're gonna set this little card right here to the side. And the CO had 1 saved, so now he's up 5. I went and, like I said, got the XO and the first sergeant there, 1 saved from the initiative phase of the previous turn. Now, 5 commands. Where are, what am I gonna do? Okay, I know I have to use 2 commands. No, wait, how's this work? Okay. Actually, okay, this will work perfect. If he's got 5, I can use 1 to activate first platoon, okay? And then I can dump the other 4 into my helicopters over here on the side to get them moving. That way, all the rest of the commands that I get, because I've got to act with them. See, this is the thing I'm talking about. I would like to take and be able to have commands to order my guys to go for cover when they land, but I'm just not going to be able to do that because they don't land until after the command phase. So when they land, them and the helicopter will have exposed markers. So everything I'll have on the board is going to have exposed markers. There's really just nothing I can do about that. Okay, let's take and activate. Let me move this here out of the way. We're going to activate first platoon, and there's no point to wasting a command activating second platoon, third platoon, anything like that, because they're all stuck. Second platoon's in the helicopters. They're not going to be able to do anything because if he can't order his guys around until after he lands. Okay, so I'm going to have to use all 4 of my commands. Let's flip him over. He's done to activate my helicopters. And that finishes the CO out. We will take and draw a card for our first platoon commander. All right, there we go. 4. So again, +1, -1. Now, where's that little chart? This is something you definitely want to use. It's a little abbreviation of all your commands, okay? And the key thing here is the cost. What I'm wanting to do is to have the platoon move to an adjacent card. So right here, move a platoon to an adjacent card. It's 2 commands, not just 1, okay? So he has 4 currently. He's going to have to use 2. And the reason, normally I would think, okay, I'll send a squad or 2 or the machine guns to scout it, but I can't because, I mean, technically I could, because I only have to clear out enough to have, because I can only have 16 steps here, okay, in this landing zone. And right now I've got 12, and 12 are getting ready to land later this turn. So I have to move at least 8 steps. So I guess I don't have to move all of them. Nah, screw it. I'm going to go with my, well, do I want to leave my commander? But see, that's the thing. If I leave the commander, then he's not going to have line of sight on his guys. You know what? I think I might leave the platoon HQ there just for ease, and then the rest will clear out. So I'll tell you what, I will take the platoon HQ and 1 weapon team stay behind. So that's 2 steps out of the 12 that are there, and the other 10 are going to move. All right, I'm going to move them. Which way are we going to go? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, north and south are the ways that I got to go if I want to try to get a continuous landing field. I'll start with south. We'll send second platoon north. So we're going to take and move this group down here with this machine gun unit. I will stack them all up together and hit them with an exposed marker. If I can pull one out of my little thing there. Okay, so they're exposed. Well, can I do that as a platoon move? I don't think I can split them up. If I do a platoon, now that I'm thinking about it, since I'm doing a platoon move, I think I do have to, all good order units of that platoon on the same card that are not exposed, move. Okay, so yeah, to clear out the card, I gotta move everybody. So screw it. Because with only 4 commands, I could technically clear out enough to not have to move the whole platoon. But you got to think, if I only move a few this turn, then second platoon's going to slam in here on this turn as well. And then I'm going to have fourth platoon behind them and then third platoon behind them. I need to get the LZ cleared out as quick as possible and open up extra places to land. So screw it. We're sending everybody. We'll just have to see how it goes. So let me add all that there. Hit it with a marker. Okay. So that was 2 of his commands. Now the seek cover thing, I looked that over and it's any good order unit not under a cover marker and the card has not exceeded its cover potential. I know that cover has a step limit. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'll look that up in the instruction booklet. But unfortunately, it appears that you can't order like a platoon seek cover. You have to order individually. So I'm going to use the remaining 2 commands for these guys to order the leader and a weapon team to seek cover. Okay, so that's going to be a 3-card draw for me. And we'll burn out his commands. Let's take and flip that over and draw our 3 cards. 1, yay, cover, 2, and 3. So we got 1 card that said cover. We are good there. We'll take and set this down, grab ourselves a nice, lovely cover marker. So at least, and I'm gonna take and just grab an extra exposed marker since these guys are now in a separate area. Technically they're in the same area, but only 2 of them found cover. The rest of them are out there just exposed. Now we are clear with that. Let's take and we do the initiative phase at this point. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna pause it here real quick because I want to check to the step limit on the cover marker real quick, and I will be right back. Okay, I did a quick check and there is no limit to the amount of steps that can be under 1 cover marker, but there is a penalty for having more than 3 under the same cover marker. So we will get to that here in a minute. I'm gonna do the initiative command draw for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th platoon commanders. And I'm doing that so I can get them some saved commands for use later on. Get them built up. First, the XO and the 1st sergeant get 1 during the command phase, during the initiative phase. The thing is that I don't know if they get 1 on top of like their 1 minimum if they got saved. I'll check on that later. I don't feel like digging in the rulebook for that now, but they have 1 saved right now anyway. So we're going to take and bring these guys down for their initiative draw. Okay, and don't worry about this tank platoon commander. I just got it sitting there. And now we're drawing on the lower number. Unfortunately, that one's a 1. So 2nd platoon gets 1 saved. We'll just flick that over there. 3rd platoon is getting 2 to save. So we'll flick that over. And 4th platoon is actually veteran, so he's got a +1 modifier and can save, I think it's up to 5 or 6, something like that. And he got a 3, so that actually works very nice for him. He can save those 4 because he's getting that +1. Okay, so there's all my platoon commanders done with. They're in the initiative phase, and now it is the general card draw. I am really hoping for a high number here, nothing low. I don't think there's, I don't think this actually gets any modifiers. It's just a flat draw. Let's hope something good. No! Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, that was horrible. That was my hope right there, buddy. That was my get out of jail free card, because I really wanted to get these guys into some cover, but now they're going to get blown into itty bitty bits. So lovely. Okay, let's see. We've got the general done. The enemy is on defensive mission, so we're not there. Mutual capture and retreat phase, we're not at that point because paralyzed litter teams don't exist. We don't have any pinned or prisoners. Mutual vehicle and aircraft phase. So we're doing this before we get to our combat phase, where we were doing we'll do our checks. Okay, now you saw that I used my CO. He issued 1 command to the platoon commander, and then the rest went to the choppers. But right now I have a buttload of choppers moving, so I'm putting commands towards my choppers. I'm not just dumping them all into my units, but these are going to automatically move even though they don't have a command. Okay, the other ones, the ones over here carrying the troops, do have commands each to come in, but I can't have 8 choppers on 1 card. You can only have 4. And like I said, helicopters will automatically move. And this is that thing that I was talking about of taking advantage of it. I've got my flight plan set up to where there's groups rotating in, and yes, I have to keep putting commands towards that, but they're going to keep rotating around. So this is the way I understand it as of now, but it's working for me. So let's see here. We're going to take these 4 helicopters and we're going to drop them into outbound here. And now this group is activated. They're going to come in to the landing zone, and they're bringing with them the whole of 2nd platoon. Let's bring our card back around. We'll take and rotate this, and this gets flicked over to activated. Let's take and get them around. My tongs don't want to pick up whole little stacks like this. Still need to get myself a better set of tongs. All right, let me grab a couple of exposed markers here, and we will mark these guys as exposed, these guys as exposed, and now we're good. Our choppers have landed, and I'm going to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yep, our other ones are there. And was this a hold for me? Move. So the next group is moving into inbound as well. So 4th platoon with its leader and forward observer guys and all that stuff is now in the pattern to come in. They, though, I'm planning on the next turn, instead of dropping them into the landing zone, which will be, over here, I plan on actually pulling them back to loiter to give me a second of breathing room if I feel I need it. If not, I'll let them come on in and land anyway. It's just kind of playing that one by ear. So you can see I've kind of got a rotation going here. The next group is being brought in on 1 helicopter, the CH-47. This little doohickey right there that can carry 12 steps. That's going to have the last platoon. The company CO and XO I'm not sending in. I don't see any reason to send those guys in. They have radios, they can communicate out there. The XO, maybe if the first sergeant gets blown away, but you guys know first sergeants don't die. They go to hell and regroup, so he'll last. But I don't see any reason for the company commander to be out there. So let's pull back around. Oh, I got a funny story for you guys about a company commander. My company commander on my second tour overseas, that dude, the ones of you guys who are Marines, you'll understand this. Combat action ribbon is the ribbon you get for engaging in combat, all right? For being in the shit. Every Marine wants one because you want to be a Marine that's been in the shit. But after you get one, you're not really looking to get more of them, okay? I'd already got mine, unfortunately. I mean, they kind of come with the purple heart, you know. But this, what was it? He was a light bird, so he was a lieutenant colonel. This dude, he was dying to get a combat action ribbon, among other things. I think he was pushing for full bird as hard as he could. So we go out on a mission, and he has us driving through. I'm not going to say too many specifics because just in case he likes board games and is watching this, I don't want to have some little comment in the section. But he took us through a downtown city in Iraq during the daytime in a convoy with himself riding in the gun turret. All right, and for those of you in the military, you understand that a lieutenant colonel does not ride in the gun turret. All right, the company commander is not the gunner on a mission. And not to mention, we didn't run convoys during the daytime unless it was absolutely necessary. All right, it wasn't a necessary mission by any means. This dude drove us through the middle of a very hostile city because he wanted to take fire. And for some damn reason, that day, all the Iraqi insurgents were taking the day off. They were on vacation. Not one shot was fired. No IEDs went off. Nothing happened. And we got back to base, and I swear to God, this guy was almost disappointed that no one got shot at that day. I mean, we were losing our minds over this guy. But I don't know. Sorry, I didn't want to get too distracted. Later, I'll tell you guys the story about the gunny we had who was so anal, he would have guys sweeping sidewalks in the desert during a sandstorm. And I'm not lying about that either. Okay, let me get back to what I'm doing because I was getting so distracted talking over here. All right, so let's get back at it here instead of me rambling on. All right, the next part that we are at is resolving our potential contact here that we have. All right, we are down here at this point. Evaluate potential contact markers, okay? So we need to take and flip our potential contact. If it's a C, it's a potential contact. We'd be drawing cards for it. If it's an A or a B, it's going to be automatic. And remember, these are all set out randomly. I have no idea, and like I literally set them out randomly when I set this up the other day. So there could be a bunch of A's, there could be a bunch of B's, there could be a bunch of C's, or there could be any combination thereof. And we're just going to find it out as we walk through it. And my guess is C. It's an A, of course. So that means automatic contact. So let me throw this back in the little thing here. And actually, let me keep it out in case the contact is unsighted. So we're going to draw a card and then go on our chart here. Our card is... Sorry, I got a text. I apologize. That is a 8. You're looking on the 10 there. And potential contact 8 is a command bunker. So you're going to look here. Potential contact A, command bunker. Okay, so that sounds lovely and intimidating. So we have a command bunker. Okay, people stop texting me. Sorry about that, guys. We're going to take and draw another card for its location. Its location is going to be 7, which is left rear at max LOS. Okay, so they are going to go this way because we got left front, straight, right front, rear, right rear, left rear. So it's in a straight line, so it's going to be going this direction. It's going to be on this card potentially, or it could end up over here. I'm hoping not because I don't want to have to change my camera angles. Let's see, flip this. This is a hill, okay? So The hill is like plus nothing. This adds to height, but you have to actually draw another card. So let's take and draw a card to say what it is. Okay, so this is a jungle on the hill, and since it's a dark border down there, this is our max LOS. Okay, so we'll clear off the contact marker that was there. I guess they were both A's. Okay, and we will grab our package, which is a command bunker. I'll grab the little chart here to show you guys where you get that. We're going to take and go here. This mission, if I didn't mention it already, uses VC forces. Okay, and command bunker is right there. Yeah, it does place a VOF, your volume of fire. Of course, it's not spotted. The placement could possibly be on the same card, but in this case, we are putting them down there. It's a squad and a leader under a bunker. Not too sure what all leaders add, but I guess we'll find out here together. The squad is randomly drawn, so I'm going to draw one from my little cup over here. This actually isn't too bad. It could have been worse. There's at least no heavy weapons or anything. All right, got that. Got our leader and got our bunker. All right, so let me show you guys here real quick. We have the first VC, the bunker, which adds a +3 to him, and the leader, which doesn't really add anything. But I'm getting ready to be shooting at him as soon as I spot him, so that leader is going to be flipped over to his fire team side, and you see he has small arms, so I don't have a whole lot to fear from these guys. So they're going to take and go here. Let me make sure that's it. Let me pan down a little bit for you guys. And now we'll pan it back up when I hit some stuff farther up. All right, so the VC group goes here with their leader. They have a small arms fire, and they get a no marker on. Oh wait, nope. I need to put this question mark with them because they're unspotted. So that reminds me they're unspotted now. And they are going to shoot towards me, and since they're unspotted, that means I'm not shooting back. PDF going that way towards me, primary direction of fire, and I need a small arms chit here. So they're hitting all my guys with small arms fire, which honestly, that's not too bad. That's just a +0, and ooh, but I'm in elephant grass. Elephant grass only gives me a +1. So these guys actually would be drawing on a +2, so that's not bad, and these guys would be drawing on a -1. So not horrible, not the worst that it could have been, but we can deal with that. I can get a lot of fire going back at them as soon as I get them spotted. Let me see, how long have I been going? I think, damn, I'm probably close to about 35 minutes here. Let's see, let me eyeball the rule book real quick and see how much is left in the turn. I might finish it out, or I might stop it here, because like I said, I don't want the turns going on forever. It looks like it's just the remainder of the combat phase, and just clean up where I remove exposed markers and things like that. So let's go ahead and get this turn finished out so I keep it pretty even, and then we'll go from there. All right, so let's take and do our combat. Unfortunately, we've got nothing going towards him because he's not spotted, so it's just my whole group here that's getting shot at. I'm gonna have to do a couple different ones because this whole group is under a different modifier. Like I was saying, they have a -2, a +0, and a +1. Okay, so they end up with a total net combat modifier. That's your NCM of -1. These guys, thankfully, since they got cover, they have a +1, a +1, and a -2, and a +0, which comes out to a +0 actually. So they end up coming out 0, not too bad. So hopefully they'll come okay. I'll tell you what, we'll randomize it. 1 and 2, we'll draw a card, see what happens. It says to start with 1. Okay, so that's these guys. We'll draw a card for them. Where am I at? I'm losing my train of thought. -1. So we're hoping for a miss on a -1. Don't whammy me. -1 is a hit. You gotta be. Look at that. Look at that. Hit all the way up to +3. Are you kidding me? Pin is the whole thing. It's like wham, 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 wham. Gotta be kidding me. Okay. And this is bad because this is my whole damn stack. This is like all my units and a group there. How does that work? Is that gonna... Well... Okay, let me look at something real quick, because I'm wondering if I think I draw a card for each unit that gets hit instead of just one. So hold on one sec, let me take a look. Okay, so that's where I got lost. These guys all got hit, but we're drawing a card for each one individually. So I started with this stack, and the first one, unfortunately, is my weapons team here. They got a hit, so now I draw to see what happens to them. They are veteran. I believe they're first platoon, so they're veteran. They get a pinned, so that's not too bad. Or no, P is paralyzed, actually. That is some shit. They're turned into a paralyzed unit. All right, now their step is actually now just paralyzed. It can be reconstituted from paralyzed to litter, from litter back up to fire team, back up to their thing. That's going to take me a little while to keep track of who is who like this. I'm putting the paralyzed marker directly on top of them. So that is now them. My weapon team is effed up. The next squad, first squad of the first platoon, drawing to see if they're hit on a -1. A -1 is a pin, so they're going to get a pinned marker. Let me grab my little pin marker here. And we'll put these guys, I might have a bunch of guys just everywhere. All sorts of markers here. Next group is -1, is also a pin. So I'm going to put them, I can deal with pin. Pin isn't bad. Pin markers go away. All right. And the last squad there at a -1 is a miss. Yes. So that's not bad. Put this guy back under that. And now I've got 2 squads that are pinned, 1 squad that's okay, and the weapon team that got turned into paralyzed. Now I do the same thing with my leader and the other weapon team, and that's done at a +0 or a 0. Remember, because it's +1, +1, and then -2 for exposed. So first one is 0, miss. That is my leader. So yay, leader's good. And then the next one is 0, pin. So we will take and put, I'm gonna have to move these guys around as well. Where's my cover marker? Because now he's covered and pinned, because he's a different type, because he's undercover and pinned while the leader is undercover and not pinned. So we've got all our little groups there lined up. Leader's still good. Weapon team, God, they crushed my weapon teams with just a little bit of small arms fire. Leader's good, and see, that's what you can see. You really don't want to be exposed any longer than you absolutely have to. Leader's good. Weapon team is pinned. A couple of squads are pinned. 1 squad's okay, and other weapon team is paralyzed. I can, like I said, reconstitute that team back up. I can get them from paralyzed using commands, get them from paralyzed back up to a litter team, back up to a fire team, back up to a automatic team. So if I do okay, I can do this. Next turn, I plan on having these guys make some attempts at putting some grenade fire over here using the 40 millimeter mics. And I can do that because I have a squad here that is not pinned, and they're not going to be exposed next turn. And that little superscript G exclamation point there above it means they can fire a grenade up to an adjacent card. So blammo, I'm going to blow that damn bunker all to hell and get rid of those guys. And that, my friends, is the conclusion of our combat phase. I'm gonna have to wait till next turn to hopefully spot these guys. My thought is to take this group and shove north into the village up here. See if you guys can see. Oh, I'm still panned down. Let's pop her back up. There we go. Take this middle group, second platoon, shoot them north into the village. That way I'm covering down south, covering up north. I'll have 4 squads. Since they're small, I might have them try to hold the middle with just a few. Well, no, I'm probably going to have to move those guys out too, because I want to keep my observers in the center and my first sergeant. First sergeant definitely, so he can pop smoke and whatever else needs to be done to help signal my guys. But we'll get into that to the next turn. I don't want to drone on too much. Now we're simply back here at the cleanup phase, where we're going to move any pyrotechnic, illumination, exposed, moved, fired, concentrate fire, grenade, and grenade miss markers. Evacuate casualties from casualty collection points, and if a defensive mission, remove any unresolved potential contact markers. Unresolved. All of these are unresolved. I wouldn't be removing all of them. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up to find out what the specifics of that part is talking about, because this is a defensive mission, but they're not going to have me remove those, so it must mean something else. But let's take and get rid of our exposed markers here. So all our guys are doing a lot better than they were. No, that's the volume of fire. That's a pin one. Where's my other exposed marker? There it is. Okay, so these guys are good now. I got a card full of counters. We're good to go. And like I said, I'm cut it here and pick up next turn with the landing of the remainder of my forces. Sorry about that. I dropped a counter. I was bending over to grab it. Flying in with the remainder of 4th platoon, and we'll see what happens with that. If you guys have any other questions, you see anything that I did wrong, like I said, feel free to point it down in the comments. I'll be happy to address it in the next video. You guys take care. I'll see you later.